Hey, we got this email. Kat and Jethro, just a quick thank you. I heard you mention quince on your show a while back and decided to order a few things for my mom for Mother's Day.
Aww.
She absolutely loved them and has already asked me where I found the brand. So thanks for accidentally making me look much more of a thoughtful daughter than I probably am. And yeah, we love quince. I'm wearing my quince shorts right now.
And making our way into summer, those shorts are going to be an essential for you.
Quince has beautiful everyday pieces like 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops with styles starting at $32.
And the really important thing for us is Quince works directly with ethical factories. So you're paying for quality, not for a brand name.
And everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar products.
I have a set of Quince linen pillowcases on my bed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it makes me feel like such a fancy lady.
It's time for a new summer wardrobe. Elevate your wardrobe. Go to quince.com/oddities for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada, too.
Woo.
That's QUINCE.com/oddities for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/oddities.
I see you.
Avatar: Fire and Ash is now streaming on Disney+. It's the film critics are calling the best Avatar yet.
Yeah. Go, 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 go!
A true epic and completely jaw-dropping.
This is the only pure thing in this world.
Return to Pandora on Disney+.
It will be an adventure for the whole fam.
And watch the Oscar-winning phenomenon at home.
This is sick!
Avatar: Fire and Ash, now streaming on Disney+. Rated PG-13.
The Box of Oddities.
So let me ask you, how you doing after your eye exploded?
It feels a lot better.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, but more than my eye feeling better, my feelings about my eye feel better.
Well, yeah, we've talked about how we both suffer from this when we feel a mild pain or discomfort. Immediately we think it's cancer. Or something equally horrible. And you were already lamenting the fact that when we travel, you won't be able to see things.
Yeah, I mean, one of my first thoughts was art museums. Oh, no.
Yeah, my eye is falling out.
Yeah.
But good news, as we had mentioned earlier in the previous episode, we took you to the doctor, and they gave you a good prognosis, and now the pain has continued to subside and you're doing better.
Yes. He even said, I want you to know that I don't foresee there being any continuing or long-term issues related to this injury. And I said, thank you. That is exactly the sentence I needed to hear. Because I was sure that I had done something that was slowly but surely separating the eyeball from my skull.
Right. The retina was detached.
Wasn't getting any oxygen. My eyeball was just going to shrivel and fall out.
Right.
And that did not, in fact, happen. So good news.
Yeah, that is good news.
Yeah.
So let's take a deep breath and let's move forward. And I have a story for you.
Oh, good.
This story begins with researchers, archaeologist types, noticing a peculiar dark shape frozen in the Arctic ice. Something that at the time was impossible to identify, but something that definitely should not have been there.
Okay.
At that stage, nobody knew what they were looking at. The section closest to the surface of the ice, that part was too small to identify, but as the ice was carefully chipped and melted away, more of this object became visible. It had a curved surface. That part emerged first, and it clearly indicated intelligent design. What puzzled the workers was the size of this object. Whatever it was, it occupied a considerable amount of space in the ice. It had clearly required a great deal of effort to bring it there, and an even greater effort to abandon it.
How does it take effort to abandon something?
Perceived value or importance, maybe not physically, but now as the excavation continued, the shape became increasingly recognizable. By the time enough of the object had been exposed to identify it, the mystery had become stranger rather than clearer. The object buried beneath the frozen ground and in the ice was, in fact, a piano.
Oh.
I was leading in like it was John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh, well, you said pea, and I was like, penis? But you said piano instead.
Yeah, I did. Not to be confused with pianist envy.
I do have pianist envy.
You want to play better than you do. Yeah, I understand.
Wouldn't take much.
The discovery raises an obvious question, not how the instrument survived. We understand that. Climate explains that part. The real question is, why the hell was a piano frozen in the ice in the Arctic area, or subarctic? Yes, Katrina Walls.
Was it from the Charlotte?
Oh my God, no, but that's a cool theory. The deal is, it was in the area, so not really the Arctic, I guess technically subarctic, but in the area of the Klondike, where the gold rush was. You discover that this piano was not unusual when you consider that. In fact, one of the stranger stories hidden inside the gold rush is the number of pianos that found their way into a region where transporting even basic supplies was a difficult undertaking. I'm calling this the Great Piano Migration.
I just know Nick Cage had something to do with it.
The Klondike Gold Rush, that began in 1896 when gold was discovered in tributaries in the Yukon River. By the following year, newspapers across North America were publishing stories that suggested fortunes were just waiting there in the far north for the taking. Some of these stories were true. Many, of course, exaggerated. It hardly mattered. The possibility was enough. And this was not too far behind the 49er gold rush in Northern California. Within months, tens of thousands of people were heading toward Alaska and the Yukon. Many of them maybe were a little bit late, the California Gold Rush of 49, and maybe they were thinking, oh, I got to jump on this now. That probably added a high degree of motivation.
Okay.
Most of them arrived with a very clear idea of what they expected to find. Gold. That's what they were there for. But what they often failed to consider was everything else. Gold rushes have a way of creating instant communities. People arrive first, businesses follow. Before long, someone is selling meals and opening up a little hotel. Someone's printing a newspaper, and someone else is trying to convince everybody they need a barber shop. The Klondike followed these same patterns. Dawson City, as an example, grew at an astonishing pace. What had been a remote settlement became one of the largest cities west of Winnipeg and north of Seattle. Streets appeared, businesses opened, churches were built, theaters followed. The last part is where the pianos come into the story. Wherever people gathered, pianos followed. And in the late 19th century, a piano occupied roughly the same cultural space as, I'm thinking, maybe a TV would, like a century later. It was entertainment. It was a social activity. It was something people gathered around in the center of the room. The problem, of course, geography. Getting to Dawson City was not easy. And you've probably seen pictures of this. The most famous route took travelers over the Chilkoot Pass. I'm sure you've seen the photographs from that period showing an endless line of people stretched up a snow-covered slope. The slope is so steep, it seems almost vertical. Every pound of equipment had to be carried in. And
yes. No, I know what you're talking about. It's black and white photo, and you can see just the row of humans making their way up the side of this mountain.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And they had to pack a lot of equipment in. Canadian authorities required prospectors at some point to bring enough supplies to survive a year in the north.
Grizzly old prospectors?
Of course they were grizzled. Depending on the exact list, that meant close to, are you ready for this?
Ready.
A ton of food and gear. A ton.
Ooh.
To carry in for each prospector. And the journey was so difficult that travelers often carried a single load partway up the trail, returned for another, and repeated the process a dozen times.
Wow.
It was exhausting work. Now, add a piano to that equation. Even if you shipped it in pieces or transported by freight companies rather than individual prospectors, the instrument still had to complete that journey somehow.
You know, I dig it, though. I can see that as being something that it's like, nope, this is a non-negotiable.
Piano's
gotta
coming.
have my ivories. I bring it or I don't go.
Yeah.
It really does seem like cat vibe priorities, if I'm being real.
And keep in mind, every mile was difficult. Every pound mattered. Yet they kept coming, piano after piano. And when it came to packing them into the Klondike, they weren't talking about one or two. Historic records suggest at least several hundred pianos were carried in, possibly over 1,000. 1,000 pianos carried by hand.
That's incredible.
Over treacherous mountain passes in the deep snow.
I also want to point out how funny I think the phrase packing it into the Klondike is.
Advertisers in Dawson newspapers offered pianos for sale. Music teachers advertised lessons. Hotels boasted about musical entertainment. Dance halls competed for customers. And really, it was simple. People may have traveled north in search of gold, but once they arrived, they wanted many of the same things that they had wanted at home.
Of course.
And the longer I read about it, the less the story seemed to be about pianos. The pianos, just evidence of something bigger. The people heading north were not planning to live in a temporary camp forever. They were imagining the future. A person willing to transport a piano into the Yukon is making a remarkable assumption. They're assuming there will eventually be audiences. They are assuming there will be parties and dances and celebrations. They're assuming the settlement will survive long enough for music to matter. Very optimistic. History often portrays frontier regions as places that are stripped down to the basic necessities. Food, of course, matters. Shelter, warmth matters. The historical record suggests people have never been entirely satisfied with just necessities. Again and again, when humans move into difficult places, they carry civilization with them.
Well, you want to have some creature comforts, some vibes from home.
Of course you do. It reminds me of one time my parents took us camping, and it was pretty rustic. It was at a campground, but we were sleeping in the back of our station wagon. It was.
Is that camping?
Yeah, well, it's hoboing, maybe, is a more accurate description. But yeah, we had a little camp stove, and we set up next to a picnic table, and we slept in the back of the station wagon.
That's so cute.
And right next to us was this huge Class A RV that had TV antennas on the top of it and stuff, and you could see through the window they were watching TV, and my mom said, "Yeah, that's the way to get away from it all. Take it all with you." The gold rush generated extraordinary stories of wealth as well as failure, mostly failure. As we know, that's the pattern. Some miners became rich beyond expectation. Most did not. Businesses opened. Businesses closed. Dreams expanded. Dreams collapsed. But the pianos remained. Some were abandoned, of course, when fortunes changed for the worse. A few survived in buildings that would later become museums. Others disappeared into the landscape and waited for time and weather and maybe a chance uncovering of them, like our story.
It feels almost like surrealist art.
It does.
You know, like the Arctic landscape and then a piano.
It reminds me of a story I heard about the Franklin expedition to find the North Passage. And they got stranded for a couple of winters. And eventually they had to pack their way out. And only a handful of them survived. And they put as many of the supplies to keep them alive as they could in a lifeboat,
Sure.
A rowboat or whatever. And they weren't thinking clearly because they were sick and they were starved, and some speculation is that they had lead poisoning.
Metal poisoning,
right, yeah. One of the vital things that they brought with them while they tried to trek into civilization again in northern Canada, what is now northern Canada, I guess it was then too, was a piano.
Yeah.
They took a piano with them. They dragged it across the ice for hundreds of miles.
They had to. It's important.
More than a century after the Klondike incident, pianos continue to surface in strange places. Not just photographs and collections, but in the wilderness, in the ice. And it really asks the same question: what kind of person looks at one of the most remote destinations on Earth, certainly for the time, and decides the journey would be incomplete without a Steinway? The answer, it turns out, is thousands of people.
Right, yeah.
And that may tell us more about the gold rush than the gold itself. Prospectors who headed north were searching for wealth. The people who brought pianos were searching for something else. They were trying to bring a piece of home with them. Long before they arrived, before they knew whether they would succeed, before they knew whether the town would last, they were already imagining dances and concerts and conversations and evenings spent gathered around a piano.
I love that. And it makes me think about, about my journey of watching Survivor.
Yes, yeah.
For the first time. I started watching Survivor from the first season. What would you say, about 18 years late?
Yeah.
Like I'm significantly behind the ball.
You're watching episodes that are still in the 4:3 square format, video format.
One of the big deals in the early seasons was your luxury item. Every person got to bring like a luxury item. And I don't know if it's still a thing or not, but they certainly don't make a big deal out of it anymore. And I always thought it was so interesting what people chose as their luxury item.
What were some examples?
Well, one guy wore like really expensive alligator skin shoes.
Huh.
Which is so stupid.
That's weird.
And then some people wanted things that were more personal, like from home, that reminded them of family, but wouldn't really help them in the game. And I think that's a similar vibe. It's more about what it does for you mentally, emotionally, than it would for survival.
Like in this case, you look at those alligator shoes and you think, can't be that bad. I have alligator shoes here.
Right.
I'm probably going to live. Anyway, the gold built the rush. The pianos reveal what people hoped would come afterward. And I don't know. It's fascinating to me. My information came from The Last Great Gold Rush by Pierre Berton. The History of the Yukon Basin of Canada and Alaska by Melody Webb. And the National Park Service's Klondike Gold Rush Historical Park Records.
I just love the mental image.
Dragging a piano over the pass.
No, just an empty landscape with a piano in it.
Yeah, just frozen in the ice. At first I was hoping, of course, it would be a UFO, but
of course.
Piano's cool too. Hey, we got this email. Kat and Jethro, just a quick thank you. I heard you mention quince on your show a while back and decided to order a few things for my mom for Mother's Day.
Aww.
She absolutely loved them and has already asked me where I found the brand. So thanks for accidentally making me look much more of a thoughtful daughter than I probably am. And yeah, we love quince. I'm wearing my quince shorts right now.
And making our way into summer, those shorts are going to be an essential for you.
Quince has beautiful everyday pieces like 100% European linen pants, dresses, and tops with styles starting at $32.
And the really important thing for us is Quince works directly with ethical factories. So you're paying for quality, not for a brand name.
And everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar products.
I have a set of Quince linen pillowcases on my bed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it makes me feel like such a fancy lady.
It's time for a new summer wardrobe. Elevate your wardrobe. Go to quince.com/oddities for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada, too.
Woo.
That's QUINCE.com/oddities for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/oddities.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs.
And now, that thing in the middle.
I didn't put anything together for a thing in the middle. Hopefully you did.
Oh, I got you, boo.
Okay.
Today's thing in the middle, I'm going to read to you this vegetable chopper box.
Okay.
I ordered a vegetable chopper because I really wanted a mandolin. And then I found this thing that's like a multi-purpose. You can switch out the blades. And so
Sure.
you can get grated this or that, or you can chop this or that. And this dices it real small. And so it arrived in a box marked Made in China. And so I want to read to you some of the details included on this box.
Oh, I love stuff like this, where the translation doesn't exactly... you can get an idea of what they're saying, but the translation's a little bit wonky.
Certainly not the case here.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Enjoy your life with delicious food, this box says. Be careful when using or cleaning for the sharp blade. Get kids away from it. Wash it with clean water. If the main body is dyed by foods such as carrots, wash it by cloth with detergent, and there are no influences about use and health for biological pigment. Wash with sponge and detergent. Dishwasher is not available, and the temperature of water is not over 40 degrees. Make sure to use the hand protector when cutting foods. Avoid the sharp blade, hurt your fingers. The effect of shredding and slicing depends on the freshness and fiber distribution of the fruit and vegetable. This product is available for fruits and vegetable. The end.
I love that stuff. Do you remember that satchel I bought?
Obviously.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool over-the-shoulder thing, and it was a man purse, basically. And
A merce.
It probably came from China, too, because on the cover it had, or on the flap, there was embroidered some words of inspiration that basically said, "Find life good, heavy respiration for love," or something like that.
Something like that.
Breathe deep and enjoy the love of blood. I don't know what it meant exactly, but I loved it. And I'm thinking of getting it tattooed.
It's inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
And we're live on match day as Doug reaches for a buffalo wing. He's got it! Oh, and he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! What a finish! There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
What's the sexiest thing you've ever worn while listening to this podcast? Right. We remember. We loved that outfit. This is the Box of Oddities.
In October of 1982, American treasure hunter and marine archaeologist Robert Marks arrived in Rio de Janeiro after receiving a tip from a local diver. Scattered across Guanabara Bay, the diver claimed were strange, ancient-looking clay vessels. At first glance, they appeared to be amphorae. And if that was the case, we had a problem because they were Roman. You know, those Roman jugs that don't make any sense because they don't have a flat bottom.
Oh, yeah. Like they use them to transport wine, and the fact that they were tapered down allowed them to stack more in ships. That was my understanding.
Right. It wasn't just wine, though. It was all kinds of business.
Okay.
But the amphorae, being Roman, presented a problem because Romans weren't supposed to have been in Brazil. Not like, ever. Like Romans aren't allowed in Brazil. But let's talk about amphorae because they are one of these wonderfully ordinary objects that I love and I find incredibly interesting. First of all, the word comes from Greek, and it roughly means carried on both sides. It's a tall clay jar with a narrow neck and 2 handles and a pointed bottom. And even though, to me, it seems like a silly Billy designed it because jugs should have flat bottoms.
Right.
This wasn't a design flaw. Ancient sailors did pack them upright in racks of sand, gravel, and wooden frameworks aboard ships, and that shape allowed them to be stacked tightly together, as you said, like eggs in a carton. They carried wine, they carried olive oil, grain, honey, even fruit, and perhaps even garum, which, as we've talked about, is that fermented fish sauce. Right. It was kind of like a precursor to ketchup. Remember that time we did an episode about ketchup?
I do. I remember it fondly. I refer to it in my mind as the ketchup times.
Different regions made them in different shapes. Different centuries preferred different designs. And because of this, the way that they look kind of tells you a lot about where they came from and when. You look at the shape, you look at the clay composition, the handles, the rim, and you can determine where it came from and approximately when it was made. So when reports emerged that Roman amphorae had been found on the floor of a Brazilian bay, a lot of people paid attention. The traditional story of European arrival in Brazil begins with the Portuguese. Around 1500, the Roman Empire collapsed roughly 1,000 years before that, so finding Roman artifacts in Brazil would suggest one of several possibilities that were upsetting for some. Maybe Roman sailors did cross the Atlantic. Maybe a ship was blown off course. Maybe there were ancient trade networks that people didn't know about. But Robert Marks absolutely thought something extraordinary was happening. When he was surveying the site, he reported dozens of amphorae-like vessels scattered across the seabed.
Was there other wreckage in the same vicinity, or
no?
Just these vessels? Okay. Mm-hmm. So they had very little to go on.
That's right. And some experts viewed photographs and they believed that the vessels resembled Roman examples dating from somewhere between the 2nd century BCE.
Oh my God.
And the 3rd century CE.
Wow.
So Marx became convinced that he had discovered evidence of a Roman shipwreck. So imagine the implications. The Roman Empire stretched across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, and Roman merchants routinely crossed the Mediterranean. They were capable sailors, but the open Atlantic is another matter entirely. And is the whole history of Brazil and Romans' connection to it wrong?
This would have predated any Viking exploration as well, right? That would have been about 1,000 years later. I don't know. I'm pulling numbers out of my ass right now.
Oh.
Yeah. So just give me a second.
Better than putting them in. Am I right?
It depends on what number. 7's no. That
5?
Oh, God, no. 1 would be okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
0, not too bad.
Not bad.
4, I think, is the safest because if it's upside down, it's like a flange.
Yeah. Avoid prime numbers.
I don't even know what we're saying.
And that's different.
I'm tired. My eye hurts. So, theoretically, some archaeologists were saying, okay, ancient ships could have drifted to the Americas. Maybe if something went wrong, maybe they didn't realize what they were doing. You know, there's a lot of like, well, gosh, if we didn't know that this happened. Let's think of all the ways that it could have happened, but in a way that doesn't harm what we already believe. Like maybe this ship got loose.
Right.
And it just scootled its way over here. You don't know. Anyway, the controversy exploded. Brazilian authorities restricted access to the site. Marx claimed that officials were preventing proper investigation. He suggested that there was resistance to the evidence that might rewrite established history.
You know, we see this time and time again.
But Marx himself was a bit of a controversial figure. During his career, he made some remarkable discoveries, but critics sometimes accused him of sensationalism and blurring the line between archaeology and treasure hunting. Depending on who you asked, he was either a fearless explorer uncovering hidden truths or a man with a flair for headlines. A deep-sea Barnum, if you will. And I wish you would.
Well, don't think I haven't tried.
Then, a businessman named Americo Santarelli stepped forward. And he said, about those amphorae, so a while ago, I had commissioned these amphorae from artisans in Portugal, and then I dumped them in this bay here.
That's what I did.
And Marx was like, that sounds unlikely. But Santarelli had an explanation. He wanted these to appear as though they were ancient. He was intentionally sinking them so that they would build a patina that would make them look more valuable because they looked older.
I see. So this wasn't like a performance art piece. This was borderline con man.
It was something. He said he got these amphorae, he sank them deliberately in Guanabara Bay so that marine growth would accumulate and give them the appearance of age and authenticity.
Sure. And the authenticity is important when you're selling things that are supposed to be relic-like. It would be probably not a good idea. Hey, I have this for sale. It's a rare vintage. It's Jesus's hush puppies. I don't think people would believe that.
Look how dusty. How can you debate it? It's very dusty.
Our Lord and Savior enjoyed comfortable footwear.
So, according to the story, he only got back to the bay to pick out a few of these after he had sunk them. And he just hadn't had time to get back and get the rest.
That's hilarious.
So Marx is like, okay, this is obviously a cover-up. And Santarelli's like, yeah, no, those are mine. I just haven't gotten back to him yet. My bad. Of course, not everyone is satisfied. Skeptics say, why would anyone sink dozens of replicas? Others questioned whether all of the artifacts found at the site matched Santarelli's explanation. A few enthusiasts continue to wonder whether there could have been something genuine beneath the sediment that wasn't properly investigated. But, as we mentioned, it was just amphorae. There was no evidence that there was other ship. It just happened to be a few dozen sunken amphorae.
So did they do any kind of carbon dating or anything?
No.
Okay.
Even though some have reported that larger objects are buried in that same area, there's been no proof of that. The site never yielded any kind of evidence that archaeologists wanted. Some are saying that it's because it's a cover-up. Some are saying because it's so obviously just some con man who was trying to age these amphorae. But most archaeologists consider the Roman shipwreck hypothesis as unsupported. It's more likely that this guy was just trying to get the right patina on reproduction pottery.
It's actually a pretty clever idea.
I like it a lot. And I like that it's like,
Mr. Marx, how you doing? Good. Listen, I need my jugs back.
So what do you think? Do you think that Romans actually did visit Brazil earlier than anyone had any understanding of? Or do you think that some dude sunk some pottery?
I think it's suspicious. I'm all into the conspiracy theory thing for sure. But I don't know. My gut tells me this is not a cover-up, that this is just a guy doing exactly what he said he was going to do, unless they find some supporting evidence of a shipwreck or something.
There's been none of that.
Yeah.
I got my information from ahotcupofjoe.net, The Times, Indy 100, and Grudge.com. We want to take a minute and shout out some people that we really appreciate. We thank you so much to Conchi, Jennifer, Linda, Betty, and Keegan, who have recently donated to our Straying North GoFundMe.
And if you would like to support that or support us in any way that you can do, we appreciate that. You can go to theboxofoddities.com, and there are options like Straying North, there are options like Patreon, or you can just like and subscribe and do all of that stuff.
We appreciate you so much.
And we'll see you next time.
Until then, keep flying that freak flag.
Fly it proudly, you beautiful freak.
And so, let it be known that the Box of Oddities belongs to you and its fate is in your hands. Henceforth, the Box of Oddities commits to the telling of stories. Stories of the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. We wish to offer our deeply felt gratitude and appreciation for your patronage. TheBoxofOddities.com. Copyright 2026, all rights reserved.
A burst pipe, a dead water heater, the AC calling it quits. Who do you call? HomeServe is an easy way to handle unexpected home repairs, with plans covering stuff basic homeowners insurance usually won't. Instead of scrambling for a contractor, you make one call to get the repair process started. Join the millions of customers who trust HomeServe right now. Go to homeserve.com/podcast for 50% less your first year. That's homeserve.com/podcast. Savings compared to renewal price. Void in Florida.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.